Part 3 of my SnapMap campaigns you should play. Finally, I played enough to make this video, and man, I got a lot to showcase. It's pretty much gonna be the same rules from the first two parts. It has to be campaigns that include original content and no remakes or reimaginings. These campaigns are not featured campaigns too. So let's get to it. The first one is an untitled campaign, but I'm just going to call it Janush campaign. I really enjoyed this one and how it really plays similarly to the dev-made SnapMap campaigns they used to do, and it's very fun to play and has a lot of good combat and flow to make it feel like it's a campaign that really had a lot of thought processing behind it. It's predominantly a preset module themed campaign with good decoration, but there are a couple of custom geo areas and they are well designed once you get into them. I highly recommend this one if you're into the campaign. Into a campaign that might have a similar vibe to the main campaign, and it is only playable in a solo experience. The second campaign was something that took me a while to really appreciate it. This campaign is called Doom Uprising. It's mostly a preset campaign with some custom geo elements here and there, and I personally thought the first few levels were kind of amateurish, but it does get better once you play through it. The story takes place in Doom 2016's universe, and I thought the author did a good job at kind of throwing his own spin-off to it, and I really did enjoy a lot of the gameplay of this campaign, especially on Nightmare difficulty. It was challenging and just a blast to play, and for some reason, his custom geo mapping really reminds me of myself and Spindleshank, if you want to get a better idea of what this guy's custom mapping is like. The campaign has a lot of maps. It currently has 11 maps, so if you want content, you're going to get a lot with this campaign. It can only be played in a solo experience. Birth of Armageddon doesn't do anything too different from the last two campaigns I mentioned, but I really thought it was a lot of fun to play, and it's definitely a campaign that feels like the author put a lot of time into the maps and make them fun and flow right as I finished the first map to the last one. It also has a lot of maps to it too, so if you want a lot of content, you're definitely going to get it with this 10 map campaign. I also thought the last boss map was pretty cool too, and it was definitely one of the more memorable parts. This campaign can only be played in a solo experience. This campaign is probably my favorite one from this particular author. Really cool custom geo work, and it's predominantly a custom geo campaign. I really loved it, the outside environment a lot, and I just thought it didn't feel so repetitive, which is generally my problem with unused maps at times. But I definitely enjoyed this campaign a lot, and even though it's only 4 maps, these 4 maps are worth playing in one session together if you just want to play some good custom geo campaigns. Hades 4 is for those who enjoy heavy combat and pretty custom geo design while paying tribute to the classic sci-fi movie Alien. It is only playable for a solo experience. These next 3 campaigns are very short for their current stages, but they will have more maps being made in the future. The first one is DRAKATAK. I really loved it, these 2 maps in this series so far. They're a throwback to the classic 90s first-person shooter styled maps, and I really love everything about these 2 maps, from the layout, the visual design, and the fights being fun and diverse. Absolutely a must-play if you have not played these maps and you are a big 90s first-person shooter junkie like I am. DRAKATAK will not disappoint you if you're looking for that kind of map in your SnapMap campaigns. This campaign is only playable for a solo experience. The Heretic seems to be like a mixture of old school and modern styled campaign. The first map was similar to a map I would see in the Heretic or Hexen games, and the second one is the same thing too, but there were more modern textures to it. So I'm expecting the future maps will be more of this, and I think it's kind of cool to see a campaign that really tries to combine both styles, since I don't really think I've played a campaign that does that. The gameplay is very similar to what you expect from Void Runner. It's similar to the Serious Sam type of games, and there's a lot of well-designed and diverse fights to keep you from playing, so it doesn't feel too repetitive or samey. The campaign is most likely going to be all custom geo, I suppose, since I know Void Runner is predominantly a custom geo mapper. So if all of that information sounded enticing to you, give the Heretic a shot. Just like DRAKATAK, it's only playable in a solo experience. This campaign is actually my own campaign I'm working on. Yeah, me. So this one is definitely going to be shorter than what I usually do. It's inspired by the first episode of Doom if you didn't realize the title, and it's basically my take on making a E1 inspired episode. I plan on making only 6 maps, and there are only 2 maps right now, but I feel like if you want to play an E1 inspired campaign with more challenge, this campaign is definitely going to be right up your alley. All the maps I plan on are going to be heavily custom geo, so if you want custom geo in your maps, play this campaign. Unlike all the other campaigns I mentioned, this campaign does support co-op up to 4 players. Baptism of Blood is a campaign I absolutely recommend if you're a big fan of atmosphere-driven maps and beautiful custom geo design at the same time. It's extremely immersive, and it really showcases so many crazy things you can do when you turn off the SnapMap's network. It seems to have a story behind it, but to me, it hasn't really played a huge part of the campaign, but it keeps teasing me, so I feel like this campaign might be more story-driven in the future maps. However, I do recommend players to experience it because it's absolutely well designed from so many perspectives that I feel like it's hard to ignore this campaign. It's only playable in a solo experience. The final campaign I want to mention is Argent Bloodfall. It's similar to the last campaign I mentioned, but a lot more chaotic in terms of its atmosphere and gameplay. It's almost like a more action-heavy version of Doom 3. There are a lot of great custom geo design here, and some cool fights if you're into that type of stuff. I do want to mention, this campaign does got some technical issues on the 3rd level, where if you're playing on the Xbox One version, the sound effects will be completely muted, so that's just a warning for Xbox users. But I do recommend people to try it out if they want an enjoyable campaign that focuses on custom geo design. Thank you for watching this 3rd part of my SnapMap campaigns you should play series. Hopefully I will do more of them whenever I have time, because it takes a while to find campaigns, and also takes a while to finish them too. Anyways, have a great day and stay tuned for more SnapMap content.